Welcome and good day. Ron Modra here. We're filming this video today at the Lensman Project Gallery here in Nashville, Tennessee. Today we're going to look at some images from one of my favorite spots in the world, Italy, specifically Siena, Italy. Siena hosts a horse race twice a year called the Palio. It's one of the most exciting events that I'd ever covered, and I hope you enjoy the photographs. The main piazza in Siena, commonly known as El Capo, is still used twice a year for the well-known and very ancient Palio horse race. The Palio is internationally famous and one of the best-loved Italian events. It takes place every year on July 2nd and August 16th. The race is run in the piazza. The whole square is amazingly fit for this type of race because its shape is that of a medieval Roman amphitheater. I had first heard about the Palio on a trip that I made to Italy many years before for an assignment I was doing for Sports Illustrated. It was 28 years later. I was on my way to Italy during the early month of July, and through Sports Illustrated I was able to secure a credential to photograph the Palio. I arrived in Siena a few days before the Palio itself, and I was able to start to enjoy a lot of the pageantry that goes with the Palio. All of the neighborhoods have areas set up in the evening where they have these incredibly long banquet tables filled with food, singing, storytelling, and just an incredibly festive mood prior to the Palio itself. The portraits of the people in the medieval costumes, I think I really gravitated to that because one, I really enjoy shooting environmental portraits, and so I was able to walk around and close in on some of the tight faces with the costumes on. So those would be my favorite shots away from the race itself. On the morning of the race, the horses are brought into the church for a blessing. Each one of the neighborhoods brings their particular entry of their horse into the church for a blessing. I was very fortunate to be invited in for one of these blessings, and I was really happy with the image I came out with. On race day, after the parade, the anticipation for the Palio really ramps up. The people are so emotional about the race. They're hollering, screaming, chanting. The kids are chanting, and so there's a really huge emotional buildup for it. And I felt it myself. I was very fortunate because of my Sports Illustrated credential. I had a position right at the finish line of the race. So they only allow about 12 photographers down on the racing surface. The rest have to shoot from positions around the track. Some buy tickets, others kind of mingle in amongst the crowd and try to fight their way to a position to shoot. But I was very fortunate that I had probably the prime position to photograph the event. What I used two cameras. I had one with a bit of a wide angle lens, like a 24 to 120, so if the horses were coming around I could get a little more of a wide angle shot, and then I used my Nikon D4S with a 100 to 400 millimeter lens. I'm sitting there at ground level at the finish line, and all of a sudden they start bringing all these magnificent horses into the piazza for the race, and the people are, once again, they're going crazy and cheering, and so they bring them up to the starting line, and they start all of this sort of like jockeying for position and bumping one another, and you got to remember the people are bareback, the jockeys are riding bareback, and all of a sudden in a split second the rope drops and the race is off. And again, it's only 3 laps. It only lasts about 70 seconds, I believe, and so the lap 1 comes by, lap 2 comes by, and then the anticipation of the final lap of the winning jockey as he comes through. And once the winning jockey hits the finish line, it's just pandemonium. All these people, they're jumping out of the stands and they're running towards the winning jockey. They're trying to get the Palio flag down, and the ones of the losing neighborhoods, they're whining and crying, and they can't believe it happened to them again. But it's an incredibly emotional scene at the end of this race. When I knew I was going to Italy for this trip, I suggested that we go back and do it one more time for a gallery. The great thing is that with the website, we were able to run a lot more pictures of the Palio than we could have or had run in the past because of limited space page-wise. So with the gallery that we ran with Sports Illustrated, we were able to run around 20 images, which was, we were able to really show the whole Palio feel. I think my favorite shot was the excitement of the winning jockey coming across. He had his whip up in the air, he had his mouth wide open with the rest of the field trailing behind him. I think that was one of my favorite shots. It was an incredible time. I was fortunate to do it 2 years in a row. And I would actually really enjoy going back a third time. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this video of the Palio as much as I enjoyed shooting this great event. If you ever have a chance to get to Siena, Italy in either early July or early August, it's well worth your time to take in this magnificent horse race. If you enjoyed this video, in the lower right-hand corner, please hit subscribe, and next to it, hit the bell, and you'll be notified of all upcoming videos.